2020, I was sick. I was diagnosed with a heart condition at a young age. So, and it was coronavirus. So that means I had to be visiting the hospital during those periods. It was very perilous. But something kept me hopeful. I have a vision of my future. I have a vision of what I want to do when I grow. And do you believe that while I was going to the hospital, I carried my laptop along. So rather than waiting for the doctor, I was coding. So it was apt for you to know that I have a serious problem. I was just writing my code. So I'll tell you that at the end of the day, what inspires people is a vision, because vision produces hope in people. A hope that there's a future, there's a brighter tomorrow, and that hope can help them commit to whatever you are doing. So if your vision doesn't scare you, I don't think you have a vision. When you explore cultures like the United States, you discover that one of the reasons they thrive so well is because when you look around, you see a lot of examples. You think of Mark Zuckerberg, you think of Steve Jobs. You have people already you want to be like. And in our country, in our context, we have little role models like that. At the end of the day, when it comes to teaching people about leadership, the best way to teach them is by example. Point it to a person so they can see, okay, this is the kind of qualities I need to have. The best way to teach leadership is to be a leader. Know it and then be an example.
Okay, so for the next question, I really want us to try to discuss extensively about it.
Okay.
Because I believe that there are some certain sort of people that are going to see this and they'll be able to learn from it.
Yeah.
So based on your experiences and based on your growth and the things you have learned, what are the benefits that you can say leadership has to offer?
One of the things leadership have done for me is
welcome to another episode of Beyond Pointers, Leaders Unfiltered Stories. Here we learn about leadership through storytelling. I'm so excited to be here again, and I believe you're excited to listen to this episode. So we have a very profound speaker in our midst this time, and his name is Mr. Boluwatife Adepoju. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's an honor to be on the podcast.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, sir. All right. So as we start, God starts with us and his name is glorified.
Amen.
Amen. All right. So before we proceed, I just want you to move down and go to the subscribe button and hit it and subscribe to this platform. All right. So moving on, I would like you to just give us a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay. Thank you once again for inviting me. Like you said, I am Boluwatife Adepoju, and I believe strongly in making a difference. I once started a business while I was on campus, and I also had the opportunity to serve as the General Secretary of Joint Christian Campus Fellowship.
Oh.
And today I'm into tech, into AI application development, I'm into tech project management, and I'm also teaching leadership like you do on Instagram and YouTube at Moonlighting ORG. Thank you very much.
All right, that's very profound. Okay, so thank you very much, sir. So moving on, let's just get right into it.
Okay.
Now, the first question I'm going to ask is, based on your experience, what is the definition of leadership?
Yeah, you see, that question is a very interesting question because a lot of authors have tried to answer it. And I see leadership in two categories. Number one is personal leadership, and number two is corporate leadership. So personal leadership is the ability of an individual to maximize his full potential. So the first point of contact in leadership is yourself, maximizing your full potential, understanding your destiny and taking advantage of it. And the other part of leadership is corporate leadership, your ability to work with a team, to lead them and to achieve something bigger than yourself. So at the end of the day, I define leadership as your ability to take responsibility for the difference you want to make. So that's the way I summarize it.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so I believe that when it comes to leadership, or based on my own personal observation,
Yes,
I believe that there are two categories of people. And the first is people who do not know what leadership is all about, people who are ignorant about leadership. And they find it, they see it as something that they do not need to learn. And then the other set of people are people that they have little idea about leadership, but then they do not know how to go about it.
Okay.
So specifically for this first set of people, what do you think we can do to enlighten these people to actually understand what leadership truly is so that they can practice it and learn about it?
Okay. One thing about our contest is that we have few role models, and it's a big challenge. when you explore cultures like the United States, you discover that one of the reasons they thrive so well is because when you look around, you see a lot of examples.
Yes.
You think of Mark Zuckerberg, you think of Steve Jobs. You have people already you want to be like. And, in our country, in our context, we have little role models like that. So, and at the end of the day, when it comes to teaching people about leadership, the best way to teach them is by example.
Yeah.
By showing them, pointing to a person. Like, that's what a leader is. You understand? So they can see, okay, this is the kind of qualities I need to have. This is kind of, so at the end of the day, the best way to teach leadership is to be a leader, know it, and then be an example.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much for the response. So I know that you're somebody who is very passionate about leadership and always wanting to teach people about leadership. So what is that particular thing, or what are the things that are actually fueling your passion for leadership?
Yeah, like for me, when I introduced myself, I said I believe strongly in making a difference.
Yes.
Is that's the same why? It used to say start with why, right? Is that the same why that is following me to teach about leadership? Because I believe we don't just sit down and complain about our situations.
Okay.
We do our part in making the situation better. So my home part in contributing to the whole ecosystem is to, share my knowledge and, help people see something they are never seen before and perhaps make the world a better place.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. So what was your first leadership experience and how did it impact your growth?
Okay, so I'll tell a story.
All right.
So when I was younger, one of those days on Sunday, we just go back from church and we lost one of our goats. And like as a sympathetic child, I was sympathizing with my parents, and then we were outside, trying to, where did this goat went to, all of that. And my dad went inside, and I followed him, and my siblings followed me. And my dad was very angry that why will you guys just come inside? You should have gone ahead and looked for the goat. And I was like, wow, I didn't know. What really struck me was that my decision affected my siblings. When I decided to go inside, they also followed me. And looking back at my upbringing, I discovered that every time I decide I'm not going to church, yesterday I'm not going to church. I'm going to. So my leadership system actually started in my home, in my family. I discovered I had an influence. I've discovered it since a young age that I actually have an influence and what I do matter. And that's why I've always taken very intentional steps to set the right standards so that because I know a lot of people are watching me and a lot of people are watching us.
Yes.
That's my first leadership experience.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So have you had a situation whereby you had to step up as a leader unexpectedly? How were you able to handle it?
Yeah, I think I remember one scenario particularly when I was in 100 level. So what happened was that we just finished 100 level and I was appointed as the vice chairman of Get Together. And you just come on campus and you're appointing as the vice chairman of Get Together as a plan. I didn't even know much people. I was not a worker then. So it was an Herculean task. What I did was I went to see the coordinator in his hostel. I had a discussion with him. Okay, what does this thing entail? What do you want me to do? What are your ideas? And at the end of the day, what worked was because I saw him, we had agreement, he explained his vision to me, and we worked together to achieve the vision. So that was my first leadership experience. And I believe the way to handle it is to communicate, have clear objectives, communicate with the stakeholders to understand what they want so that you can deliver accurately. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So, can you tell us about a particular challenge you faced during your leadership experiences in the past and maybe the current one, and how you were able to handle those challenges for the particular one you're going to be talking about?
Okay, so let me talk about, we all have failures and we have success stories. So let me talk about the failure story. It was in 400 level when I started a new company like that as it were. And I got a team and we're building an app. So because I'm a person that's not just passionate about making money, I'm also passionate about building and enjoying organization. So I imbibe the principles of organizational leadership. And so in one of our meetings, I said, okay, today I want us to put some things in place like a vision, mission, core values, things that define us and also define the kind of people we attract. But one of my team members decided not to contribute. And I felt that was a big deal. So the issue I had, the challenge I had was communication.
Okay.
The team member decided not to participate. And the issue I had was this person was a leader. So if I continue that way, I knew that we have two companies within a company. the one I'm building and the person that person has in mind because he hasn't been giving his input. But then the relationship didn't go well. The out of crash all of that. So that was like a painful experience. The barrier of communication. But I think the solution to that is ensuring that people that are working with you have the same beliefs about communication. Just imagine I've asked these questions ahead of time. Do you believe in communication? Do you contribute? Minute things that can actually crash a relationship. So I think that was my experience, and it was a bitter experience.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing about communication that I know is the fact that it is very important that one understand that people are different.
Absolutely.
The way you discuss with person A is different from the way you discuss with person B.
That's true.
So you just need to like understand that person, see the way see it from the lens of the
That person,
and then try to like pick up with the person at that point.
That's true.
That's very nice. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so how do you motivate people and how do you inspire them to do what they have to do? Maybe in a team, maybe you have a team that you put together, or maybe the people that you are mentoring and all of that. How do you motivate and inspire people?
I'll tell the story and I will give the lesson. So in 2020, I was sick. So I was diagnosed with a heart condition at a young age. So, and it was coronavirus. So that means I had to be visiting the hospital during those periods. It was very perilous. But something kept me hopeful. And that's the answer to that question is vision. I have a vision of my future. I have a vision of what I want to do when I grow up. And do you believe that while I was going to the hospital, I carried my laptop along. So I was waiting for the doctor, I was coding. At that time, I was learning Android development. So I was just writing code. So it was hard for you to know that I have a serious problem. At that point, my parents were thinking maybe I will not live long, maybe I will not grow old. But me, I didn't put it on my mind. I was just writing my code. So I'll tell you that at the end of the day, what inspires people is a vision. Because vision produces hope in people. A hope that there's a future, there's a brighter tomorrow. And that hope can help them commit to whatever you are doing. So a leader needs to have a genuine vision and keep casting that vision, helping people see it, understand it, and believe it. I believe that's the secret to inspiration.
Okay, that's very nice. Okay, but then, it's one thing for a leader to have a vision.
Yes, sir.
And then it's another thing for the leader to be able to communicate that vision.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So how do you think, what are the practices that one can put into place as a leader to communicate visions to team members effectively?
Okay, so when you have a group of people that you are leading and you want them to understand your vision accurately, one of the things that we learn in communication is to listen first.
Yes.
First, listen to their own idea of a future in this company. What do they think we are building? In fact, it's best practice when defining organizational vision, not personal vision.
Yes.
To define it as a team. Best practice to define it as a team, because when we all come together to conceptualize a vision, it's our thing. And you can't imagine the kind of effort people put into it. So once the vision is conceptualized like that, the leader then needs to consistently communicate it. In fact, teach it, make it like it has to be broken down, taught, emphasized until it sinks into people's subconscious mind. Then the miracle happens.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
So what is your, there's a difference between internal motivation and then external motivation for team members in a workplace. Now, which of them do you think is better or more effective? Is it the internal or the external motivation?
Okay. Well, for me, I think the two are very important. So if I get it correctly, internal motivation is like personal drive, maybe your mission, something that's driving you internally.
Yeah.
And external motivation, I think maybe that you are looking at, maybe I can get that salary,
the reward money.
The reward money. I think this is the two. When you are building an enduring organization, first, you want to ensure that people that are coming to the team have the same belief as you have, so that there can be alignment. That is internal motivation. They have the same kind of mission. They believe in the same kind of thing. They believe in what you are doing.
Yeah.
And then when you now have great people in your team, you want to reward them well. Because great people, when you don't reward them, they will leave.
They will leave.
Even though they believe in your vision. Nobody loves to be treated unfairly.
Of course,
so
of course.
There has to be a balance. Internal motivation are the requirement to bringing you on board. Then external motivation are the requirement to keeping people on board.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. So, what are the essential qualities that a leader should possess?
Mm. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of qualities since we started.
Yes.
But one of the essential qualities I believe every leader should possess is first character. You see, everything about leadership is first about the leader before what he does. So no matter how grand the vision is, if you are a person of questionable character, people will not follow you at the end. Or let me say, a lot of people will not follow you at the end. So every leader must pay attention to his character as a person, then
Mm.
develop his skills as a leader. You see, so it's first internal, then the things you do externally. So that's what I think.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So, how do one ensure that he grows continuously as a leader?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. See, I was thinking the other day about this year that what are my goals? And I think one of my constant goals is a growth plan. Like goals as a growth plan.
Yeah.
What it means is that at least I have at least two books I want to read. So at every point in time, in fact, I told my younger brother at time point that if there's a point in my life that I don't have two next books to read, something is wrong. Come here and help me. So I have a growth plan. I have a growth plan. We consistently be on the run on the next thing you want to learn about. So having that art to learn and then a plan for your growth, I think is one of the secrets to
Okay.
continuous growth.
Okay. It is possible for some people, maybe they have achieved quite a number of things,
Yes, sir.
and then they get to a point where they are complacent about
Mhm.
their growth and they feel like they have known so much and they
Yeah.
don't need to grow. What can you say about those set of people, and how can you advise them to not settle for the level that they had, that they can actually, do better and increase in their growth?
Ah, wow. See, I think the answer to this is actually how big your vision is.
True.
If your vision doesn't scare you, I don't think you have a vision.
True.
Every time I think about the vision I have for myself, but let me see, my big vision is that I want to have a global company. And who am I? I'm from Africa. Like, how much do I know? So,
Yeah.
how big is your vision? Is it global? So, now, if it is global, do you think you can do it now? So, if you can't do it now, then you should be growing. So, the secret, the answer to complacency is having a bigger vision.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So, if you could go back in time and
Yeah.
change one thing about your leadership experience
Mhm.
and the things you have done,
Yeah.
what is one thing that you would change and why?
Okay. Let me draw back from that experience I had in leading a team that didn't work out. I think one of the things I would have done differently is um, take my time before committing big responsibilities to people. What do I mean? Let's say you are a leader of a company and you need maybe like an assistant or CFO or COO or that. You can't just scam people on the internet, scan CVs, and then appoint a title. Most often not. Most often what you do is see people you can trust or people that have earned that trust. Their responsibility can't commit to people that have not earned that trust. So what I would do differently is let trust build over time before I commit important decisions to people. Because
Mm.
people that have stakes are really destroy the organization. So they should have grown to earn the title so that everything can be done right.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so for the next question, I really want us to, try to discuss extensively about it.
Okay.
Because I believe that there are some certain sort of people that are going to see this and they'll be able to learn from it.
Yeah.
So based on your experiences and based on your growth and the things you have learned,
Yes, sir.
what are the benefits that you can say leadership has to offer?
Yeah, I think I'm an example of the benefits. One of the things leadership have done for me is leadership have given me a sense of fulfillment and also a reason for joy. So those are big words. So let me explain it. Fulfillment because doing the things I want to do. It takes being a leader personally, like personal leadership. Understanding your potential, taking advantage of your potential, like doing the things you want to do, not just things you are forced to do.
Yeah.
To be like to be fulfilled. So it's helping me live a fulfilled life. And it's bringing me joy because the knowledge that you can actually organize a team and achieve something bigger than yourself gives you joy. See the product, see the things you are building. It gives you joy. So I believe one of the rewards of building your leadership skills or building yourself in leadership is the fulfillment to bring to your life and the joy to bring to your life.
You know, there's something about some people that is the fact that they are ignorant about leadership. A lot of people think that leadership is just about being in a position and not just being in a random position, but political aspects. You know, they see people who are like local government chairman, people who are governor of of the particular state or president as the leaders. And that's why we hear people say, my leader, my leader, my leader in political space.
Yes,
But then they do not know that leadership is beyond just that scope. We have personal leadership, just like you mentioned, self-leadership, whereby you lead yourself to accomplish a particular goal that you have achieved or you have set out to do. You carry out some things like discipline, consistency. They're like things that are involved in leadership. Then bringing it to what I have learned or what leadership has taught me, the benefit I've learned from leadership is the fact that leadership has helped me to grow. Leadership always keeps me on my toes.
Wow.
That I just have to do this. I just have to develop myself.
Yes.
I must not remain in the same position. I need to go to the next step. And even if I've accomplished something, even if I've done something profound to a particular level, I want to go to the next thing. What is the next thing for me to learn? Where is the next step for me to get to? I just need to keep developing myself, keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. So that is one major benefit that I know I can say that leadership I've gained from leadership. But then a lot of people, they are just ignorant about all of these things. And it is just something that we need to print into the minds of people that this is what leadership is. This is what you can gain from leadership. And this is how leadership can even help you to shape that future that you are desiring. Some people, they just want to focus on their career. Just, okay, I just want to have money.
Yeah, advance and then
just be there, just have money and all of that. But then the road that leads to all of these things is still leadership that will take you there.
That's true. That's true.
But then they do not believe it because they are ignorant about it.
That's true.
But then we just have to keep teaching people, keep letting them understand that this is what leadership is all about.
That's true.
Right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, moving on to the next question. So, based on your experience, what is that lesson or what are the lessons that you say you have learned now in terms of maybe you have made a mistake before and then you want to, and that mistake is something you can never make again, you know, that kind of lessons. Can you just tell us about it?
Yeah, like I said the other time, I remember one of my painful experiences in leadership is, and let me draw the lesson there. Lesson I think I have now is that I take my time to trust people, especially those that will be working with me personally. I don't need much trust for you to be my employee or for me to give you a job and then pay you. When it comes to my personal circle of people that will be like people I can cry to, like things are going bad.
Yeah.
I want to ensure that those kind of people have my trust because they have the ability to stab me. And those kind of people can break my heart because they are so close. Right. So that was what happened to me. I want to be sure that the person that I draw so close to are people who have grown in trust. Like we've built a level of trust.
Okay. But then from what you said,
yes,
what if you are in a situation whereby you are made the head of a team and those set of people, you do not trust them? How can you build trust between you and your team members?
Yeah, trust is built over time. And there are levels to trust. If you are made the head of a team, I'm leading a team, right? And what unifies us is the vision of the organization and what we want to achieve. Now, it's my responsibility to build personal relations with my team members. I believe leadership is personal. That is, I can't just lead on the stage. I have to go to the grassroots and meet people one-on-one, know their aspirations, and then align it to what we are doing so that I can inspire them. But at the end of the day, those that will be my inner circle in my team. You know, team can be big. When there's an inner circle in the team, those are people that have earned my trust over time. Maybe they've shown loyalty, they've shown faithfulness, and they are committed. So I can give them more responsibility.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So I'll be talking about my own lesson. I was just talking about one in particular. And that is the ability to communicate visions clearly. I've had like few experiences in the past that my team and I want to set out to do something.
Okay.
But then it looks as though I am the only one having this thing in my mind. I am the only one that is serious with this thing. And I've been trying, okay, what is wrong? Was try to talk to them, try to encourage them, okay, we have to do this. This is the role that you have to carry out and all of that. But then there's no changes. So I realized that it is because they have not seen that vision as their own.
Yeah.
So the ability for me as a leader to communicate visions clearly enough that my team members can see the vision as their own. That is one major lesson I've learned.
That's very powerful.
In leadership. That they can see the vision as their own, beyond just, okay, this is what we have to do. That, okay, we have to do this.
Yeah.
This is also my own vision. This is this person's vision. This is this person's vision. It is everybody's collective vision.
Yes, sir.
Until I get to that level, that is when I can say, oh yes, I've gotten to clearly communicate the vision. And just like you said, communicating vision does not happen once.
Yeah, that's
does not happen twice. It happens over time. You just have to keep communicating. This is what we want to achieve.
Yes,
this
sir.
is what we want to achieve.
Yes, sir.
Teach them. Because what people hear and see often is what comes into their hearts. Is what they take to their hearts. What they see often, what they hear often, is what they actually tend to do on subconsciously. It gets into their subconscious mind. All right, so moving on to the last question, which I'm going to be asking, and it is a question I ask everybody that come on this podcast to speak. And the question is, what advice or advices do you have for emerging leaders based on your experiences?
Okay, there's this popular saying that it's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
So my advice is that don't be alone. And the secret to ensuring you're not alone is to ensure that as you rise in leadership, you carry people along. So for me, recently, I went through a tough experience. I left a job and I had to sort out some things because I was leaving before the 2-month notice of that. So it's a little bit rough for me. But what really helped me were people around me. I had mentors that believed I was doing the right thing. I had family members that supported me. So even though the organization was not too pleased with my decision, I had a support system. So every leader needs that kind of support
system.
so that you don't just die so easily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, that's very true, because most times we as leaders, we have to do the duties of checking up on our team members and all that. But then there's nobody checking up on the leaders.
Oh my God.
So it is the support system that they have that will just keep them going. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Such an honor. Thank you for this, and thank you for the work you are doing.
Yes, sir. All right. So we have come to the end of this episode. I believe that you have learned a lot from our speaker, just like I did. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Such an honor again.
Yes, sir. So if you have any question, you can reach out to us. You can drop your question in the comment section of the video of this episode. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today.